So I'm at Harare Sports Club, in the Paramount Under 20 rugby. That's happening here today. So I'm joined here by Ruvimbo Chakoreka, who needs no introduction at all. Ruvimbo, you are here and you have been following closely the proceedings. What's your comment on the quality, the standards, the level of rugby that you've seen so far?
Okay, without being too overcritical, I would believe that this is the second week. So I think I would want the teams to have a little bit more rhythm going into it. You can tell the difference between the teams that had a lot more time in terms of preparation as to those that didn't. Of course, you can expect all of your big clubs, the likes of Old Georgians, Old Hararians, Harare Sports Club, Pitbulls, all of these had already started preparing for the season a long time ago. But I must say I'm impressed by debutants, Zambezi Steelers, who predominantly have got youngsters that were part of the school system last year. And I feel that they're playing some pretty decent rugby, so they're definitely one to watch out for in Division 1. It's also good to see Southern City as well being in there, coming back into the thick of things. I'd like to see a bit more consistency from them, because there was a particular year, I believe it was just after COVID-19, where they came in quite strong, but they were just not able to sustain a full season. So I think so far the quality is okay, but I know it will get better as the weeks go on.
Now the thing that Zimbabwe now is the current holders of the Bathurst trophy, and tournaments like these. What sort of value do they add to Sean D'Souza, who's the coach for the junior tables?
Well, it definitely gives him an eye into maybe some of the other players who may not necessarily have been on his radar, and it also gives the adequate and necessary game time prior to them actually going for the Buzz Trophy, because we know by the time the Buzz Trophy comes, the under-20 season will be done, but there will be limited time after that under-20 season, which is why we've seen him actually engage in the men's tournaments as well to adequately prepare his boys. So I think this one, it gives him a nice look into what he needs, and maybe some of the other players who may not necessarily be pulling up their socks can find themselves upstaged by those who will be wanting that jersey much more.
Now, you are a rugby analyst, and what would you want to see happening to our schoolboy rugby boys? We've got a team that's coming out of the new debutants with Zambezi Steelers, and most of them are schoolboy that are playing schoolboy rugby. Speaking of schoolboy rugby, what would you want to see happening in that sort of rugby?
All right, what I would love to see is a substantiated league being put together from the Premier Division all the way down to Division 10, if it's possible, because I know a lot of schools actually play rugby. So what you would want to see is a more substantiated league, involve the schools that play rugby and that play it well, regardless of whether they are government, private, and so on. And once we get those playing, then we can actually pick the proper cream of the crop. And once we pick the proper cream of the crop, we've actually got an under-20 league wherein all of these boys can be able to come up at club level and begin to play. Because what we are suffering from is not seeing enough players coming into the club level system that would have played rugby for a long time. Some that are coming into the club system are actually being introduced to rugby right now at under-20 level, and that's far too late if we intend to make a mark on the international.
Very lastly, who are you going with for this year's edition of the under-20 Paramount Government?
I'm very conflicted. Very conflicted there. Look, defending champions, Old Georgians will have a serious effect. I know that Pitbulls will want that trophy back, a trophy they held on to for over 5 or 6 years. And so I would say it's between Pitbulls and Old Georgians.